Hello and welcome to Wednesday night. I am Nicole with Equally Creative by Nicole. I am hopping on a few minutes early this evening. I've still got to get a walk in today, so I'm gonna try to walk you through some basics of card design, and then I'm gonna go walk through my neighborhood and pray that it's not pouring on me. But I do have a raincoat, so I can make it happen. And I did do some upper body strength work before this. So let's see how tonight goes. Hopefully, my muscles are still working and not too much of jelly so that I can still show you some things that I have planned. So tonight is going to be so different. So I decided to take what would be like an online course where you could just step through the process or the elements, as it might be, of some basic card design. And I created a presentation to share with you. Inside the presentation, sorry, my eye has got a little something in there. The presentation is filled with things from AI created some pieces and parts that I was able to jump from. And then I also incorporated, obviously, my experience stamping for the last 20 years and some projects that I have worked on recently, as well as some catalog images. So I really incorporated a lot of pieces that hopefully will give you not only inspiration, but some information. In case you have never created cards, I just have to say that if you're a creative person, this is one way that you can get your creativity out. But another reason for doing it is to create smiles on other people's faces. So, anytime I have given somebody a handmade card, I don't think I've ever been met with like disdain or distaste or anything because everybody loves that you thought about them. You took a moment to create, purchase, or even handwrite inside of any card, even the Dollar Tree cards. So anytime you can create a smile on someone else's face and let them know that you value them, it's always something phenomenal, right? So let me go ahead and get started. I'm going to share my screen and present and talk, and then also show some items from my collection. And I am going to shamelessly plug a lavender club class that I have one piece left of, one card club left. So I'm going to share the cards from that kit. And you can order one if you would like, but obviously it's not required. All right. So again, I am Nicole with Equally Creative by Nicole. And tonight's free class is literally about card design, basic card design. So again, I told you I did look up some things with AI assistance. My personal experience, I'm using a slideshow from Slides Carnival. And obviously, the beauty of our Stampin' Up! Product lines are going to be incorporated in here as well. So I kind of touched on this already. Have you ever wondered how you could create some of the amazing cards you see online? Tonight, I'm going to share with you some simple elements to keep in mind when you're ready to give it a go. So once you understand some of those basic principles, you'll be able to create lots and lots of different items and make someone else feel special. So let's talk about the first piece of this, which would be dimension and orientation. So we have standard sizes. I'm going to provide US sizes, and we have the A2 size, which would be an 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock cut down in half, either vertically or horizontally, to give you a 4.25 by 5.5 inch card. And then we also have A7 size, which is a 5 by 7 inch, and then any size square are the most common US sizes. All right, so here are a few of the cards that I have created, just showing you different orientations. Obviously, you can have horizontal or vertical, landscape or portrait, and how you design that kind of is impactful in your design and layout, how it comes across to others. Okay. And then I'm going to, oh, really? I did all of that and it wasn't sharing my screen. So I'm gonna have to go backwards on this. So let's see, because I want you to see it. We don't have to start at the very beginning, but let me come back here and share screen. There we go. Well, here we go. Okay, now I made it happen. Oh my goodness. Sorry, people, if you're watching, I apologize. So we were talking about dimension and orientation. So let me scroll through. So standard sizes, 4¼ by 5½, 5×7, and square. Here are the cards I just mentioned. Okay. And I am going to share 2 additional cards from the Lavender kit, the Lavender Club class kit, that are also portrait. And then obviously I have some that are landscape. So let me slide this over. All right. So this is one of our lavender card designs, obviously in portrait form. Hi, Rebecca. Thanks for joining me for this very different live class. Here's another lavender kit card that is in portrait. Set those aside. And then I have a fancy fold that is in the landscape position. So this, but if you see, all of these cards are going to be 4¼ by 5½, in either direction that you turn them. So that is my shameless plug for the Lavender Club class. Again, I do have one of these available. So I'm going to switch back over and get back into my my presentation. Like I said, this is a little bit different today. Click here and share. All right, so those were some other cards just showing you the orientation there. Let's keep moving. There is like 9 different elements that you could consider when you're creating cards. And the second one is going to be layout and composition. So any card that you have should have a clear focal point, such as an image or a sentiment or an embellishment. This is one of the ones that I did, I think 2 weeks ago, last week maybe. Last week we did this one. This was part of our mix and match product line with the ephemera packs. Super simple. So this one has one focal point for both the image as well as the sentiment. And then balance is the other perspective. So even if you have an asymmetrical design, you still, want to have some balance. So if you see, the card on the left has some image and a cutout on the left, but then on the right we have elements such as our sentiment and those embellishments. When you look at the card on the right, you see that it has an overall balance. It is not asymmetrical at all. So both of these things can be very effective when you are creating. The use of white space or just any empty area in your card is one strategy that you can actually use to make something stand out or highlight those important elements. So this is a card I created with the new, let's see, Flowers of Beauty. And that is simply ink on white paper layered with the backgrounds. So the white space is what made the jug flowers on the stool stand out. If there had been a lot of background behind that, it could have really distracted from the image itself. So that's where that white space comes in. All right, color scheme. This is my favorite part. Okay. So anytime you want colors that go together, there are a variety of ways that you can figure it out. Look in nature. Nature provides colors that go together automatically. So anytime you see something in nature, it's obviously meant to be, right? But what if that's not easy enough for you? So our new catalog has this amazing color theory section. And so we have a color wheel that's going to help you find those different strategies of color harmony. And let's see. I'm going to stop sharing for just a second and pull you back over to my screen down here. So our color wheel is on one page. And basically, you have your Roy G. Biv, right? Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. And even in the center here, that is your basic, those basic rainbow colors. And then what our company has done is kind of put those colors into the categories for you based on the stamp colors that we currently have. So this is specific to our stamps, but I have another color wheel that I use when I'm quilting. Anytime I want to know what goes with what, I'm going to go, okay, um, if I want something that is monochromatic, I would stick within these color zones, right? So if I wanted red monochromatic, I'm going to use these 4 colors to give that monochromatic look. Complementary are colors that are near each other or next to one another. So when you look at our second side, page 133 in our catalog, you can actually see the directions for how to use it. So complementary, I'm sorry, I said next to each other. It's across from one another. My favorite one for this is actually orange and blue because I'm a Gator fan through and through. So anytime you have orange and blue across from each other, I just say you're a natural Gator, right? The sky can be orange, or the sun is orange and the sky is blue. So God made it that way, right? Actually, it's just complementary colors. So if I love Petunia Pop, that was one of the most favorite colors this year. And I can just grab a little ruler and pull that straight across. So I can use Lemon Lime Twist with my Petunia Pop. If I wanted to turn this a little bit, Berry Burst with Soft Sea Foam. So that is how that complementary, you would pick one from each side. Analogous is actually our kind of next to one another colors. So what they say 3 colors that are side by side on the color wheel. So any 3 colors. So you can do shaded spruce, shy shamrock, and pretty peacock. I could come over here and do flirty flamingo, petal pink, and calypso coral. And then the triadic is going to be 1, 2, 3. So you would pick based on your triads. So you can see how we have some lines that go straight through, and it's kind of helpful to see it that way. And you can just pick from the, you could even pull out a triangle and turn it and find your points and go that way as well. To grab a paper, create a triangle out of it and turn it. Here, I'm even gonna show you just how easy that would be. I'm just folding a little Post-it note. It's not square, but you'll get the point. You'll get the image. Okay, so here I have a triangle. So I would have a red-orange color, a yellow-orange color, and a blue-green color. You can see that. Okay, so that's a great way to get into color theory in a very simplistic form. So let's go ahead. I'm going to put this aside again and switch you back. So let's go back. Okay, so now we're back over here on our color theory. All right, so I don't know where the about us came from, but that's from the design of the slides carnival people. I apologize for that. The information is correct. You want to ensure that you have enough contrast between the background and the text to make the content readable. So I had a very busy background on here. I wanted to make sure that my text was nice and bold and dark so that it stands out. So that is a picture of our Simply Zinnia suite that is available online right now, and that is how I used it. All right, typography. Whew. So sometimes, we're not going to have every stamp sentiment that you want, right? So you're going to look online. You might find a design from somewhere. You might just type it yourself in Word, make it big, print it off, slap it inside of a card, right? There are so many things that you can do with typography. So I did include some stamp sets that we have that are just sentiments with lots of different font options. So you want to make sure that your fonts are easy to read, appropriate for your occasion, and combining different fonts can be fun. So just make sure that they can read them, right? So I just put some images down here of some of our different sentiment only sets. You can see some are small, some are large, some have lots of swirls to them. We've got a little bit of just some block lettering going on. Lots of options available. So just make sure you have some visual interest and that it's readable. Use varying font sizes to establish a hierarchy, making important information stand out. So if I were doing a save the date, I might make those words be the focal point and the piece that I want to stand out on a card more than anything else. So those are just things to think about. Okay, images and graphics. Stampin' Up! Has you covered in this area, right? Because we have so many high quality images. We have rubber stamps and we have clear photopolymer stamps. So both of those are going to be pretty great quality wise. Anytime you're using a stamp, or again, let's say you're pulling something off the internet, first of all, make sure it is licensed for how you want to use it, royalty free or whatever. Do not use something from the internet and try to sell it, because that is a big no-no, unless you have a license to do so. So high resolution images and graphics ensure clarity and sharpness. And then maintain a consistent style of images and graphics throughout your card to create a cohesive look. Mix and match can be used to create some artistic interest. Make sure you're watching for that cohesiveness and readability. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing again for a second here and come back over here. Well, thank you, Rebecca. This was kind of like a little labor of love, because I wanted to make sure that I gave enough information for some basic card making. And so I'm going to kind of go through here and talk a little bit about those Under Club classes again, because I want to show that this background and this image are the focal point for this card. Goes for this one. I don't have a graphic in these that are the focal point. However, I had another one that the graphic was the focal point. So, this one. Okay, so this is a swap card and the graphic is the focal point. This is a piece of our designer series paper, And remember how I was saying a moment ago that your message might be what you want to stand out. So if I had this one, that happy birthday really stands out with that blank space behind it. So those are just examples of some of those tips in real life, in action. All right, so let me come back. Told y'all this was going to be really different today. Okay, so let's talk embellishments and details. And when I use the word embellishments, I'm not necessarily talking about our adhesive embellishments, but all things that embellish or create extra interest on a card. So stamping and embossing. Okay, I've got some stamping here. And you can't even see this because I'm still sharing. So I'll share this in a second. So you're going to use stamping and embossing techniques to add texture and dimension to your cards. This is one of our catalog pages. And you can see in the little pink envelope looking one, those bubbles are actually textured from an embossing folder. You can see there are some swirlies on the little hanging folder there, hanging image. That is also from an embossing folder. And then obviously we've got some hearts that were stamped, those little onesies that are stamped. So there's lots of ways to add embellishing or embellishment to your projects. Die cuts and punches, some of my favorites. So you can incorporate die cuts and punch shapes for added interest and create unique designs. This was a sample from our teacher appreciation gifts that we gave out as a family this year. And those are die cuts that we added to a 3D project that held candy, chocolate. All the teachers love chocolate. All right. Let's talk, we'll talk about adhesives in a second. I want to show you some other embellishments here. Okay, so here we have some texture going on in this background. I don't know how well you can see that. Looks way better in person, however. So I embellished with this texture and obviously with our stamp here. And this one also was embellished with texture and die cuts. So our layers here, stamp, die cuts, texture right here. You can see that. So these are all, again, ways that you can add interest and design to your cards. Okay, now let's talk about all those adhesives. I did not go into complete everything because we have so many. So I did put a nice image of all the sticky business. I love this page in our catalog. I love the title, everything. So you want to use high quality adhesives. And if you caught one of my more recent videos, you heard me say that I had no idea that our adhesives were acid free and lignin free, and that they were photo safe essentially. So I was, not putting our adhesives on my photos lately because I didn't know until recently. Like I don't know, I just blanked. But just so you're aware, our Stamp and Seal and our dimensionals, those are all acid free, photo safe adhesives. So if you're a scrapbooker, these adhesives work well for that too. So we do have a wide variety. Each type of adhesive has, not a unique purpose. They all have multi-purpose to some degree, but they all provide something that's a little bit different. Of course, some of my favorites are the multi-purpose glue and dimensionals. Those are two of my absolute favorite pieces that we have. And so there's that. Those dimensionals really help with this next piece, which is called layering. Layering different papers and elements can add depth and dimension to your card, or as you can see in this image, a 3D project or a bookmark. So here I used regular glue for the flat layers, and then I used our dimensionals to pop up the clouds and the hot air balloon. So just lots of different little elements there that you can use. All right, finishing touches. Now we'll get into those little bits of personalization that you can offer through a wide variety of products, right? So here you see I created a bookmark with a 16 on it for when our daughter turned 16. This was the front of her birthday card. And she was able to take the bookmark off and use that in her books. She is a bookworm. She loves to read. And she asked for books for her birthday. So that's where the bookmark piece came from. But the 16 was obviously memorable, and she was able to hold on to that. She's probably still got it in a book right now. Adding a name to something with die cuts or stamps, anything that personalizes things obviously makes things more special, right? Coordinate your envelopes. A goal of mine this calendar year has been to not have as many naked envelopes. Naked insides and naked envelopes were on my list of things to avoid this year. So as you can see here, I did add a coordinated butterfly to this envelope here. It adds a fun, fancy element if it's coming in the mail, and it is a cohesive piece of the presentation of what it is that you're giving to somebody, right? All right, so we're getting near the end. Some basics, tools and supplies. I threw a few photos up here of some of my favorites. We have a tape runner, scissors, paper trimmers, a take-a-pick tool. We have bone folders, obviously all of those adhesives. You want to have a few high quality tools that you can count on that won't cause you to become injured in the end, right? Obviously, I've got a catalog of products and a website full of things that you can utilize to create stunning, amazing cards, scrapbook pages, invitations, note cards, fun activities for kids. My favorite part of Stampin' Up! Is how well everything coordinates together. And if you stick around in the month of June, I'm going to talk about all 4 of our different colorways. Actually, we have 5 colorways because we have some neutrals in there. And we have, well, 4 colorways, but we also have in colors, 2 different sets of in colors. So I'm going to focus on the 4 colorways. We're going to do brights, we're going to do regals, we'll do the subtles and the neutrals. So you're going to want to come back and see what you can do with a colorway in ink, paper, markers, etc. All right, I'm going to stop sharing and come back over and say hello again. Okay, so I hope that there were at least a couple of things that you are able to take to heart. And if you've never stamped before, I would love to help you learn and take some of these tips and ideas and put them into practice. If you have a special occasion coming up and you want to design an invitation or thank you cards to coordinate with something, let me know. I can help you with all of it. So I hope you have a great evening. Don't forget, like, share, sign up for my newsletter so you never miss one of these free classes or any of my other classes for that matter. Again, I do have one of my lavender club kits. I have one extra one that is welcome to travel to a home. If you are interested in that, just let me know. You can send me a private message because that class has closed. They have already shipped out, The tutorial will be sent out in the next day or so, and that's it. So don't want to miss out on any of those. Sign up for that newsletter. I hope you have a great rest of your week. It's been really hot here. I hope you stay cool, and I'll see y'all next week. Have a great night.